Well, everyone, so it's finally time for us to go and take a look at the Nintendo Wii and see how this particular gaming console holds up in 2024. Now, this was always a very interesting console in my lifetime because this was kind of the first console, one of the first gaming consoles that I actually bought by myself. So, I didn't buy it by myself, but the other ones, my family members had, and it was just kind of like a hand-me-down for maybe other people in our life. This one was the first one that I think we actually went to the store and actually bought. And I remember the day that we did end up buying the Nintendo Wii, and it was actually the black model. It was a very, very interesting console because it didn't have the GameCube, backwards compatibility, which I was very sad about. But we went into the store, I think it was Black Friday. I think these Nintendo Wiis were selling for about like $100 on Black Friday, some random thing. I think it was 2009 when these things were selling. And we ended up buying it. I bought New Super Mario Bros. With it. It came bundled with it. And I loved my Nintendo Wii. This was one of the best consoles I ever owned. I think my Nintendo DS was probably number one. And then the Nintendo Wii was like 2 or 3. Like, it was one of the most important consoles in my whole entire life. And I didn't necessarily like grow up with the Wii. Like, I didn't play like a crazy amount, at least with the Wii games. I've since played a lot more Wii games actually, in the last 2 years, even when I first owned the Wii, which is pretty crazy. But I like the concept of the Wii, and still to this day, I think the Nintendo Wii was one of Nintendo's best-selling, home consoles. I think since it's been surpassed by the, Nintendo Switch, but I will tell you, there's still a lot to love about the Nintendo Wii. I love this console so much. Starting off with the design, this was still something that looks so beautiful. I like the black model a lot, but the white model that I have too, it looks so good. I love these, Wiis so much. They look so great. On the front, you had that little disc tray, and you had the expandable storage, the power button and everything. The thing I love the most about these Nintendo Wiis though, was with the, little dock that you had at the bottom, that little rectangular thing. The, way it looks was so iconic. Whoever designed the Wii, they did such an amazing job making this thing look so beautiful. To be completely honest, the previous consoles that I ever looked at from Nintendo really didn't look the best, to be honest. You look at the Nintendo GameCube, looked, unique, it looked beautiful, but the Nintendo 64, all of these consoles didn't really look like they would age the best. And honestly, when they first came out, you could definitely tell they didn't look maybe as great as they probably should have. The Nintendo Wii, Nintendo really focused on the design on this console. They wanted, I think, a lot of people to just own this console. I don't think they really cared about the performance or anything. That's really, what came secondary. They cared about making this console as accessible to everyone. And this was one of those times where they actually went through and tried to not compete with all the other gaming manufacturers. They didn't want to compete with PlayStation and Xbox. It was a losing battle for them already because the PlayStation 2 they lost that. However, with the Nintendo Wii, they took that blue ocean strategy that a lot of people talk about since then. They were very successful at it, and they basically went through and basically ran away with it, and they sold so many units of this thing, it wasn't even funny. So definitely with the design, I think it has aged amazingly, and it is by far one of my most favorite designed consoles of all time. Now, the thing I love the most about this particular console, you did actually have that SD card slot, which we'll get into in a second. Beyond that though, pretty much a beautiful looking console nonetheless. The controller was also a very interesting thing. The Wiimote, this was something that is honestly still very interesting. A lot of people still use the Wii Remote to this day for a lot of emulation and connecting to their PC. But again, with the Nintendo Wii, with the Wiimote, this was one of those controllers which you either love it or you hate it. Personally for me, I liked it kind of, but it really kind of got annoying when I wanted to go and, kind of use it for other games and, for other maybe emulation games with my modded Wii, which I'll get into in a second. With this type of console, with the standard games, it's perfectly fine. All the games are compatible with the Nintendo Wii and the Wiimote. But if you're trying to go through and play other games, I don't really like the Wiimote beyond than just playing Wii games. It's very hard for me to kind of use it for any other games and any other purposes versus something like an Xbox controller or even like a PlayStation controller now, or even like a PlayStation 3 controller or Xbox, 360 controller. Those controls were very good in my opinion. The Wiimote definitely was good for the Wii, not really good for anything else. Beyond that though, I still like the way the Nintendo Wii looks. I think it, the outside of it is very good. But I will tell you, the gaming library of this particular console was out of this world. The original Nintendo Wiis actually were giving you backwards compatibility for GameCube games. This in and of itself was a very big deal because you could actually just go ahead, plug your GameCube games inside of the Wii. You could flip open the top and you can go ahead and play and just plug in your GameCube, actual controllers inside of your Nintendo Wii. Unfortunately, as you may have already known, as I already told you 100 times, and some of these games, they're not really, some of these Wii's aren't really compatible with the latest, GameCube, accessories anymore. They completely closed that off. I think after they saw the success in the Nintendo Wii, they're like, what's the point of even doing it? It's like so expensive to do it. Then they went ahead and I think price dropped them and, took out GameCube backwards compatibility, which kind of sucked. But you have all of those games available for you. You can play right then and there, which again is very, very crazy. On top of that, with the Nintendo Wii, you're also getting all those Wii games. You have to remember, this was one of the best-selling consoles of that time, and because of that, there are so many Wii games available, it's not even funny. If we just take a look at the best-selling Wii games out there, it's insane to me how good of a job Nintendo and all these other developers did at the time, because, not only were there first-party developers, they're also third-party developers as well. You had Wii Sports, which is an iconic game in and of itself. You had Mario Kart Wii, and New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Just those two games in and of itself were crazy. Now, those two games were bundled with the Wii in some cases, but that was another very crazy thing going on for this particular console. That was absolutely wild. Now, you were also getting things like Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Super Mario Galaxy. Now, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, very good game. I made my own dedicated video on this thing like 2 or 3 years ago on this channel. But Super Mario Galaxy, I actually had the chance of actually playing this, and the Super Mario Galaxy 2, I think in the last 2 years, or last year or whatever, I will tell you, that was such a legendary game. It was the very first time I played that game, which shows you, I really didn't play the Wii I didn't play, a lot of games on the Wii, but I played the couple games that I had on the Wii a lot. New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Mario Kart Wii, and some other games too. I will tell you, Super Mario Galaxy, I wish I played it earlier. It was a wonderful game. The graphics of that game, even to me personally, are crazy. Even though the Super Mario Galaxy was, a 480p game, when you upscale that thing to HD or full HD, it is crazy how good of a game that thing actually looks like. So a lot of these Wii games have aged so well, and it showcases too, because a lot of people still love these games. And although the, Nintendo Wii wasn't wasn't focused, on the performance, it was still a very good looking game nonetheless. But I was also able to mod my Nintendo Wii, which is very interesting because there's a mod out there that was allowing you to play a lot of PlayStation 1 games. And what I ended up doing was I was able to go through, mod my Nintendo Wii, and I was able to go and basically finish off a lot of my PlayStation 1 games that I wanted to finish so long ago. I didn't have a PC at the time. My only other option really was to mod my Wii. I was able to go and use that SD card, mod in a way, load up all my PS1 games from that, and I was actually able to go and play my PlayStation games on my Wii, which was actually so legendary. It was such a cool thing, and I was so happy to be able to do something like that. And honestly, beyond than just the Wii itself, I love the fact that it gave me that type of capability. Now, it wasn't native by any means, but it was still from my Nintendo Wii. And when I look at something like the Nintendo Wii in this day and age, I still think there's a lot of capability behind this console. Now, there's so many emulators that you can use to basically emulate every single Nintendo Wii aspect, it's not even funny. But I do think if you want the hardware, if you want to go ahead and use the actual remote and all that stuff, this is some really cool stuff that you're getting on this type of, console. I still think the Nintendo Wii is completely still worth buying. I still think it's worth playing all those Wii games that came out originally. If you're in the market, I couldn't think of a better reason, to buy this console, but also keep in mind that, these things have gone up in value a little bit. So if you don't want to actually have the hardware, you can always play them. If you actually own the games, you can always dump your ROMs and then play them via an emulator. But I love the Nintendo Wii. I hope it lasts forever. And I can't wait to see what the next 10 years of the Wii kind of look like. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.